Hello everybody, it's Sylvie. Welcome back. I hope you're doing good. Today's video, let me grab. Today's video is going to be looking at my spring deck. So this video is a VR to Candy Soul and Soil and her Spring Tarot TBR tag. I really love this tag. I think it's really fun. I have actually been a booktuber in a previous life. And I love to make a TBR, I love a good list, so I thought I absolutely had to make a tarot to be read. So these are this is my like spring in rotation grab basket thing, and I've just realised there is another deck that is not here, so I will go and grab that. So having grabbed my additional deck that I left behind, I'm going to get straight into it. Go watch Candy's video if you haven't seen it already, but basically this is a spring to be read of tarot decks. I feel like I'm a bit late to the party because spring technically started with the equinox, which is now like 2-3 weeks ago. I don't know, time has no meaning, but better late than never, and I want to do it, so I'm doing it now. Right, I will start with this one since I had to hike myself all the way to my desk to go grab it. So this is the Ask the Witch Tarot, and this is going to be my daily draw deck for April. If you saw my tarot journaling, how I tarot journal my daily draw video, I chose this at the end of that video as my April deck. I am enjoying this so far. I hate the cardstock. I don't read with reversals, but this is such a pain to shuffle that they get shuffled in, but that's beside the point. So this is not necessarily the most springy of decks. I think I mentioned in that video that the colour palette and the kind of depth and saturation of colours that we see in this deck makes me think more of like late summer than of spring, but it's the one I'm working with, and so by default it is in my like spring tarot to be read. What's today? Today's the 5th of April. I haven't actually done my daily, what am I doing? I haven't actually done my daily pull for today because this morning was weird. I had to go pick up a prescription. It was not my routine. So the daily draw hasn't happened yet, but I'm enjoying this so far. I've already pulled the King of Pentacles, who stalked me last month, and I pulled the World twice. No, not the World, the Wheel twice. And then the other card that I've pulled was the Six of Swords, which was the other card that I had repeating in March. So that's happening. Clearly it's talking to me. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I like the guidebook. All of the major arcana are based on a different like witch or witch type figure, whether witch might not be the correct word, but from like different cultures and folklores, and it's been interesting. And I really like the art, it's really cool. I like the kind of, it's a little bit edgy, isn't it? Like this bleeding from the eyes owl in the Two of Cups is not your traditional Two of Cups type imagery. Anyway, I feel like I'm really rambling today, so I'm gonna put this one away. But this is my first, by default, on my spring TBR, not because it's springy, but because it is what I'm working with. Okay, I warn you, it's a rambly kind of a mood today. I'm just going to dig into my deck basket, I think, pretty much at random. So this is the Chrysalis Tarot. This was almost my daily draw deck for April, because this one feels springy, but she didn't make the cut this time. I'm kind of intimidated by this deck because it's not strictly following an existing system. It's kind of doing its own thing. But I think it's really beautiful, but I've not really worked with it. So like I really want to actually work with it this spring. The backs are some of my favourite tarot backs that I own. I love butterflies, I love the colours. I love the colouring, the coloration all throughout this deck. I think it's really beautiful. I think the artwork's really beautiful. Yes. And with all the like fairies and butterflies, it definitely feels very springy. And because I haven't really worked with this yet, I've not really got too much to say about it. All of the suits have been changed, the courts have all been changed, which is possibly one of the things that's putting me off the most, because I already struggle a bit with the courts, and then this is this whole other thing. but I think they're really gorgeous the way they're all framed, and then like, yeah. So yeah, it's pretty animal heavy, which also isn't my typical thing. Basically, this deck is not the kind that I would usually gravitate towards for a bunch of different reasons. And yet, I have it and I'm really drawn to it regardless. So I need to just get over myself and start pulling with it. But yeah, but like with cards like this, it's so springtime. I'm in England and I've started seeing loads of like plants blossoming and the trees are starting to blossom. Like it's feeling very spring where I'm at and I'm loving it. I don't get this though. Like this is what I mean. Like instead of the Fool, we've got Merlin as the hero. And I just, what does it mean? What does it all mean? I don't know. I'm in a weird kind of mood today, so apologies. This is the Herbcrafters Tarot. But first of all, can we admire this beautiful little bag? I did not make this, but the Herbcrafters I bought secondhand off eBay. And the person selling it was selling it with this handmade pouch, which is just so beautiful and obviously fits the deck perfectly. These are the backs. I think they're gorgeous. I love a good tarot back. I care a lot about tarot backs, I think more than I do about borders, if that's of interest to you. Anyway, we're upside down. This deck, also, this is pretty new to me actually. I only got this a few weeks ago, I think. This deck also kind of does its own thing a bit. It's definitely not following traditional like symbolism in the cards, although I think the meanings are supposed to line up. But as you can see, each card has a different plant. And also I felt, look at this, is so cute. I feel kind of odd having this deck because like I am English. I'm from England, I live in England. And this deck is not based in, like I have no cultural connection to a lot of the like herb crafting, or even like the plants themselves are not plants that are like something that I see in my day-to-day life because they're not native to here, or they have different names and things like that. So I don't know, I felt kind of weird, but I was really drawn to the artwork of this deck. I really like the lack of people. It's weird, I don't like animal decks, but I like this because it doesn't have people, and in the court cards have been slightly reworked and you can see like hands but you can't see faces or anything like that. And it just feels very like spacious and very open and obviously very green, which makes me think of spring, but it also feels very like not intense essentially. So this is one I definitely need to work with the guidebook with because it's not one that you can pick up and read like a normal Rider-Waite Smith. But like I love all the landscapes. I love all the skies, especially in a lot of these cards. I'm big on skies and skyscapes and clouds. And like I love all the water as well. Obviously the suits also been renamed to just the elements. I'm doing a very terrible job of talking about this deck. I just think it's beautiful. And I've been umming and ahhing over like whether it's one I should get, and then I saw it on eBay and it was extremely affordable, so I went for it. But yeah, it's just a lot of open space. It feels like a deck that has a lot of breathing room, I guess, which is something that I associate with spring. Like kind of that, like almost like fresh start kind of energy, but like a lot of like it's a spacious season in a different way to winter, which I think of as being like very open space. But yeah, I'm once again rambling, so we're going to put her away. Okay, so this is the Outgrow Yourself Tarot Oracle. This is based on the Thoth system, but I'm currently using it like an oracle deck because I don't know the Thoth system. Although I want to learn, but that's not what's happening right now. Basically, I just want to dig this out and use it like an oracle because I don't really use oracles and I would like to. And again, there's lots of flowers. It makes me think of spring, and the like theming of the deck, even in the name like Outgrow Yourself, it's a lot of growth, which is again something that I feel is very springy. and something that I also just need a lot of in this season of my life, I guess. But this is much less like soft and gentle florals, because that's not really my thing as a general rule. But yeah, and maybe I will also dig the Thoth out, who knows, but I'm not putting too much pressure on myself. I just really like the messages. Like it's quite like affirmation-y without being too like trite and saccharine. And also, like I have read with this before, that can be like upfront at the same time. Like he who learns must suffer. Like that's not soft and fluffy, but is also like a message that you can take in a lot of different ways and apply to a lot of different contexts depending on like what you're reading and what the like theme is. Outgrow yourself. In the Emperor, and of course it is Aries season at the moment. So I did these edges in yellow myself and I love them. I think they're so fun. Anyway, actually I will talk about this next. So this is the Tarot de Carlotyde, I'm not sure, and I just think it looks really nice with the Outgrow Yourself Oracle. I think like there's a quality to the line work that is similar, and they just look really nice. Like this has got the black background and this is quite like light colors and open space. This is Lizzie Bennet, right? I can only see this as Lizzie Bennet, so that's what I'm choosing to see. But anyway, this is a springy deck for me. First of all, the backs, beautiful. Because of the flowers, because of the light colors, because it has this sense of like spaciousness. I feel like a broken record at this point with the points that I'm making about these decks. But it feels in that sense very springy, and I really like this because the imagery is just like a bit different, but it makes sense with the cards. And there was also quite a lot of like green in this deck, quite a lot of like plants in this deck. And yeah. And I just think it's really fun, like this like Princess and the Pea kind of vibe for the Four of Swords is not something I've seen before. It's got this like, it's got so many different references. Like I think it was the Magician is like for sure David Bowie. There's like fairy tale references throughout. And I think it's got like a sense of whimsy to it that feels perfect for spring. And I want to use it with the Outgrow Yourself Oracle because I think they just look really good together. I love a brutal Queen of Swords, and this one does not disappoint. Okay, I've already been talking for the longest time, so I need to speed things up a bit. This is the Way Home Tarot. This is a recent acquisition for me, and it's one that I've had my eye on for ages, so I'm absolutely thrilled. First of all, can we just admire how well I've managed to match my nail polish to the card backs? That was not intentional. But yes, this is an indie deck that I've wanted for ages, and again, it's got that sense of like spaciousness. There's not a lot of people in these decks. It's only the court cards, and even then it's these outlines and then like elemental scenes behind. So this is a lake. And I really like this deck, and I am a little bit confused by how much I like it because it's got this, I don't know, I've just been really drawn to it. It feels like it's a bit contemporary. It definitely does not stick to the traditional like artwork from like the Rider-Waite-Smith, for instance, but I feel like it conveys the messages really, really well. Like look at this with the Ten of Wands and then the Five of Swords. I just think it's brilliant. I think it's like the closest I'm going to get to a contemporary feeling deck. But yeah, again, it's got this like openness, this spaciousness to it, which again I think is to do with the lack of people in the cards, which feels very springy to me. I feel like I am just repeating myself in this video. And you know what I don't understand about how much I like this deck? Like I'm confused, and I'm very pleased to be confused about this because I do like it. But like the artwork is this kind of, it feels hand drawn, but it also feels like rendered, like digitally rendered, and I didn't think I would like that, but I do, so I'm not complaining. It's fun to learn things about our preferences. I am obsessed with this for the King of Wands card, this like lightning and the way it's coming out of the silhouette. I think it's brilliant. I just think this deck is so clever. I've seen a lot of like minimalist type decks that I have passed on for various reasons. They just don't click with me. I think that's an issue with the minimalist deck, is that if it doesn't hone in on your like associations or how you read, then it misses the mark because it's minimalist. Fantastic Queen of Swords. But for whatever reason, this one just really works. Like, I just feel like I can read it really easily, which is lovely and the whole point. And I definitely want to work with this during the spring. So yeah. And like, this is great. I've said this before. I love the Hanged Man. I love like butterflies, and so to have the Hanged Man as this chrysalis, it's excellent. I love it. Moving along, this is a deck by Tarot Collectibles, who hands down one of my favorite like indie deck people. This is going to be a pain on camera, but do you see the sparkle? So this is the Groovy Waite Sparkles edition. And like, you can see that sparkle, right? And some annoying reflections. So I'll try and keep this one brief because I think it's probably really annoying to look at. But this is a Rider-Waite-Smith redrawn. And what makes this springy to me is, like, first of all, it's these bright, gorgeous colours, but the way that the like holographic sparkly overlay makes it look, like, it gives it this kind of like frosted, like pastel-y kind of coloration to it. I don't know, it just makes me think of spring. Like, it's bright colours, but it's not these deeply saturated summery bright colours. It's more spring-like. I'm not sure. Anyway, she's gorgeous. Ugly backs though, like, oh, who's upside down? The Page of Wands is upside down. Like, you're giving me this, and then you're giving me this? What? Disappointing. Okay, can we finish this before my battery runs out? Probably not. This is the Lifeline Tarot, Colour Outside the Lines. I recently bought this. I did film an unboxing. I don't know whether that's making it online and if you've seen it yet, but this is, it's another Rider-Waite-Smith redraw, but it's very simplistic. I've spoken about the pocket edition, which is just the black lines before, and then I bought this because I wanted it. This has obviously some like addition of some colour, and again, it's that spaciousness. It's got a lot of white space, which I guess I associate with spring, is what we're learning in this video. But it just has a lot of like, it feels like a deck with a lot of like potential, as in like it reads in a very like expansive way. And I think it's because the way that it's drawn with this one single continuous line, for the most part, it leaves a lot of the original line work out. Like, it has a lot unsaid, and I think you can read into that in some really interesting ways by like reading the negative space as much as what is there. So yeah, that feels very spring. I've had a couple really, really incredible readings with this deck since I bought it, so I want to keep working with it, and that's partly why it's in this pile, just because I'm loving it and I want to keep that going. When it comes to these extra cards, this is the Muse. Anyway, unrelated, this deck also smells really good. I don't know quite what to make of that. But I guess some cardstock just smells really nice, and this is one of them. Okay, so my camera died and I'm not too sure where I left off. This is the Eldritch Overload Tarot. I've moved things and it's wrong. This is one of my newest tarot decks. I did an unboxing, which I will link if you care to see it. And so this is in my like spring selection, just because it's new and I want to play. This is also super sparkly. This is a, like, I'm gonna move this because it's dark. Okay, I don't know what's going on with the lighting. I'm sorry. This is a like cyberpunk, a dystopian, but like a really bright, colorful one, which I love. I love a good sci-fi anything, and so I was really pleased to get a new like sci-fi deck. Love this King of Cups. And yeah, this isn't super springy, although I will say the colors are very springy. Like, they're very bright and pretty, like not bright in a garish way. But mostly I just want to work with this because it's new and I want to work with it. I haven't grabbed it and I can't bring myself to get up again. But I also got the like large codex guidebook that comes with this. So there's quite a lot of info on each card, and I really want to dig into that because there is also a D&D 5e compatible like module in there, which I don't think I will get to play anytime soon, but I want to like geek out for an evening and like have a look at it and get into all that. Love this. I think I probably said this exact sentence in my walkthrough of this, but I love a spider as the 8 of Swords. I see it all the time and I love it every time. Love this moon too. Yeah, actually, I feel like I want to work with like paired tarot decks more. Like I always really enjoy it and I feel like I get a lot out of it, but I don't actually ever seem to do it that often. But these, both being so sparkly, I feel like these go really well together. I think the color palettes are actually pretty similar. I know it's a pain on camera. It shows up really distractingly on camera, but in real life it's just this holographic gorgeousness. Yeah, I feel like not just because of the sparkle, I feel like these actually, like the color palettes look really good together. I figured out what this reminds me of, this like layer of shine over the cards. It looks like in the morning and there's like a layer of dew all over the like garden, and it's that like frosty kind of look, but not frost. I should think of a different word than frosty. One more. They just look so good together, right? Emperor and the King of Pentacles. Anyways. Ah, and then the Emperor. Hey, that's neat when that happens. Cool. These have much better backs than these. Okay, this is the last deck in this basket, I think, and this also is not a particularly springy deck. It's actually quite like doom and gloomy. But again, I want to keep working with this because I like it so much. I got this in January, so I've not had it all that long. And it's just been so incredible every time I've worked with it. And I just want to keep working with it. So that's kind of all there is to it. Love this Queen of Swords so much. She's holding the head of the King of Swords, who actually is the next card. Like, is that not the coolest? Anyway. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep working with this for as long as it's calling to me, which is all the time at the moment. I think, who's the company? They are coming out with a hardback guidebook, I think. I don't know when, but I know I'm signed up for email notifications. And whenever that does come out, I will be buying it because this deck comes with a 5th suit. And I don't work with that at the moment because it's a bit of a... They've got loads of info on their website, but it's a bit of a pain to have to look stuff up. And I would rather work with a physical guidebook. So now that I know that's coming, I'm waiting for it. But I'm still loving this deck with the traditional suits in the meantime. Okay, this is maybe a bit of an obscure... Not obscure, but a bit of a specific detail. So this is the 10 of Wands. And they're numbered. And for some reason, that really works for me. Like, I feel like that makes it a better 10 of Wands because they're numbered. I can't explain that or make it make any sense, but it is how I feel. So yeah, I'm in a weird mood today. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, I think that's the last deck. I'm really hoping that I haven't missed one out, but I think I've spoken about them all. So we had Ask the Witch, which was my April deck, and then there's 9 in this basket. So that's 10 decks in total for spring, which feels like a lot. It is a lot, to be honest, because I don't actually have the world's biggest deck collection, so it's quite a lot of them. And to be fair, most of these aren't very springy, but it is what it is. I want to be working with these anyway in the next couple of months. I definitely feel like I've spent too long talking because I started filming this a good few hours ago before my camera died. So I'm gonna leave it here and go and edit and see what kind of mess I've made of this video so I can get it up this evening. But anyway, that's it from me. This is my tarot to be read for spring. I hope that you've enjoyed. Let me know if you have and want to work with any of these decks. If you also have the Chrysalis and have felt weirdly intimidated by it and managed to get over that, tell me how. Tell me your secrets, because I want to work with it, but I feel like bizarrely resistant about it, which makes no sense. But there we go. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for spending some time with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.